Hello, my name is Peter Brown. I'm a mould maker. I'm making this video in response to a email I got from Robin Perry, who raised some issues about his own mould making. So I thought rather than write a detailed response, I'd show him, which is fairly simple. So I'm going to run through how I make a mask mould from start to finish. Most of the pre-cutting is already done away from here and done cold. I've just started to make the mould now. My rubbers are in the oven and I'll use these to show you how I make a mould. Firstly, I'm divided into 8 equal spaces. I like to give everything plenty of space. 8 probably the minimum number of miniatures I can put on a mould. These are tag Renaissance miniatures, so they're all spaced out quite evenly. I've also cut these with my clippers out here. This just seems to get the moulds moving. It just seems to give everything a bit of space to move into and get everything going, so you don't form a seal when you put the top on. Also, I've got some chunks that I've added to the rubber. That's some on the back and some here in the mould itself. Robin was saying that he was putting a rubber solution on it to try and join them together. I never do this. All I do is knit the rubbers together so that when they vulcanise, they can't, they are the same piece of rubber. If you put solutions in there or glues, I guarantee these pieces of rubber will fall out. Don't do it. Okay? So normally that would be done next door, but I've done it here just to show you how I go. I've got a bit of talcum powder on my rubber. In it goes. Metal core. Make sure everything's seated nicely. First miniature, I've got my marked out. I'm going to lay the miniatures in nice and loosely into the positions I've previously cut for them. Just working around swiftly as I can. Everything's hot, as you may tell. I've got gloves on. The can's hot, the rubber's hot, so you just need to be working quickly so you're not losing any of that temperature, because you're going to need it later. There's my one I've knitted in earlier. Just a little piece underneath this staff to support that, and as I say, just make sure it's part of the same mould. Excellent. Okay, that's all my pieces. Again, that's a piece that's got another knitted lump in supporting it. Okay, I've got some studs. I don't use many. Well, they use a lot of studs. Don't know why they're using them. 8 studs in, and away we go. You can pre-cut the top with holes to match. It is normally it's unnecessary. I get away most of the time without having to do so. So here's my top, onto the mould, and in we go. Push everything down, make sure it's seated flat, and put the top on. Okay. Into the jaws of my preheated press. It's 150 degrees, whatever that temperature is, and I'm sitting nicely in the centre of the jaws of the press. When I'm sure it's in the centre, I start to pump it up. It's just a few moments until the lid bites in the jaws, and then I take it up to, well, just a few tons. My gauge there says that I'm about whatever, 7, 8 tons, a bit more than that. And I'm going to leave that as it is for 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick the mould is. I'd normally set my phone camera at this point, but obviously I'm using it. So I've got a bell so I don't walk off and lose it. And when I come back in 10 minutes or so, I'm going to take that up to about 12 or 15 tons. At which point the mould will vulcanise relatively swiftly within the next 10 or 15 minutes after that. And then it'll be another 20 minutes going off completely, and I'll open it in 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, if you want to see more details on the mould making process, go to the Mould Maker website or the Mould Maker Facebook page, and there's loads of stuff there. Okay, cheers.